he was like Hollywood. And I started thinking it. And then later on when Snowfall came, even though it just nailed the part. I think he should have got all the awards.
Oh, yeah.
In the back of my mind, I was always like, you couldn't find a 19 or 20-year-old in South Central that could have also played this part. Even though,
point.
But when you say critique like that, it's like you criticizing him. But no, he actually nailed that thing, right? But I fail to believe that you had to go halfway across the world. And just like in this case, there was teenagers in Chicago
that they could have used.
Who could have played.
They actually could have used them.
Because in fact, most of the young people in there, even though I don't know the other ones' ages, were obviously full-grown adults.
You can clearly see that these are adults playing kids.
So yeah, that's a thing.
But it's a thing that I noticed, like in the 70s, the teenagers looked like adults. So I'm like, what?
From the way they dressed,
everything. It was almost like, let's just get some adults that look young, throw them in some weird looking clothes that teenagers wear, have them doing silly shit, like they had the kids in the class falling on the floor and just doing dumb shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we'll call them teenagers. And it's kind of weird because it's even in Dangerous Minds, Michelle Pfeiffer and them. There's a dude, I want to say he got killed, Enrique or Manny or whatever his name was. It was like an older Hispanic dude in the class. Mm-hmm. That dude was the same age as Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie. But he was playing a teenager. And it's like, why didn't you just go get a teenager? Like, why are you guys getting full-grown adults to play teenagers? They got wrinkles in their face.
Maybe it was a SAG. Maybe it was a SAG.
Was that a SAG issue?
Yeah, like, hey, we can't have this. I don't know, because they went to extremes. You either had a Gary Coleman type dude, or D from What's Happening,
Emmanuel Lewis,
kids, or I was 20-somethings. Playing kids. There was no, I guess if you were 14 or 15, you just didn't have no.
You shit out of luck.
Yeah, you unless you were like a midget or something.
Yeah.
You know? Shirley Ralph was definitely.
She was 21.
I didn't realize she was that young.
Yeah.
Because I know she had to be young because 20 years later, she still looked youthful.
Oh, she looks great now. But she's 65 now.
She obviously was no parts of a teenager.
No, nah. She was a fully developed woman. She had a young girl's voice. She played it to the T. Speaking of Shirley Ralph is an accomplished actress, but she's a theatrically trained actress. Mm-hmm. So the only issue I had with her, and Shirley, look, I got love for you, but I got to say this. When she speaks, she projects. And it sounds like she's acting. That's the only thing I got to say about in this particular movie about Shirley Ralph's character is like, she speaks so eloquently and so perfectly with every word. It's like nobody in the hood, in that situation with them badass kids, they wouldn't have been speaking like that.
But two things though is that for those of y'all that might not realize, when you come from a theater background, in order for people in the back of the theater to hear you, you have to speak in a style of speaking that's called projecting. But that's not a realistic way of talking. So it's noticeable if you into that. But another thing is that even now when she's comfortable, she has a Caribbean accent.
Yes, because she's from the Caribbean.
So maybe just like a lot of the British actors, to get rid of their back home accent, they enunciate perfectly.
That's true.
And they speak in a manner that sometimes you'd be like, in fact, that was the thing with John Boyega, that was his name, in Watts, playing in Imperial. He didn't sound like any cat I knew from Watts.
Right.
That's what I'm like.
The people that's from that area, they know the real from the fake. Yeah, they know the real from the fake.
You know, saying that maybe that might have been the case with her, is that trying to overcome her Caribbean accent, she was using her American. Well, if she learned, she probably would have had perfect dictation.
Yeah.
It's like my daughter's a newscaster. Me and her talking voice and her, hi, I'm Shalika Powell and I'm here to bring you to, and her news voice is hilarious.
It's totally different.
But they're trained, it's called a mid-regional. It's a mid-regional dialect. It's an actual accent. And that's why if you turn on the news here in the Bay, you turn on the news in San Antonio, Texas, you turn on the news in Philadelphia, and all the anchors have the same tones and inflections.
Mm.
It's considered a universal American accent, and they
Gotcha.
all, like if you go to journalism school, you will learn, if you're going to do broadcast journalism, you all learn this voice. And to see my daughter and her normal I know her normal speaking
Yeah,
voice,
how she normally
and then
speaks.
see her on the news in her news voice, it's never not funny to me.
Yeah.
Because it's nowhere near how she talks.
Right.
You know.
Nah, I get it.